It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Tonight, let us make them remember we are not afraid!
No fear, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear here on Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, here from the beautiful studios of Freedoms with an S, freedomsphoenix.com in lovely Phoenix, Arizona. We have a very special guest, Sibel Edmonds on. Let me give you a little bit of history on Sibel. Now, we've been following Sibel since she couldn't talk. We were talking to her when she wasn't supposed to. And because she was one of the first people with, inside it. She goes, you know what? You want to know everything I know, but until I get immunity, I'm not saying squat. And then, of course, Congress didn't want to hear what she had to say. Nope. Now, let me go ahead and read some bio for it. Sibel Edmonds is the founder and publisher of Boiling Frogs Post. Boiling Frogs Post. You go down and get some of the latest stuff on there. We're going to talk about some of their recent articles today. An online news analyst and weekly podcast interview site covering select but significant blacked out stories and issues. Now, Sibel is also the founder and director of the National Security Whistleblowers Coalition, NSWBC, a nonprofit organization dedicated to aiding national security whistleblowers. Now, she's received awards. She's got, an MA in public policy and international commerce from George Mason University. She has a degree in criminal justice and psychology. She is fluent in Turkish, Farsi, and Azerbaijani. Now, she's appeared on, 60 Minutes and national TV and on and on and on and on and on. I got you there, Sibel?
More than enough. Thank you, Ernest.
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. You important, know something person. Okay.
Oh God! Actually, I have been known to actually talk about people who go so much with their titles and a lot of these, what you said, blah 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 blah. The so-called experts that we get to hear from so much in the news. So I think I have to get that even shortened.
Yeah, it's going to come. Let me tell you how short it's going to be. It's going to be Sibel Edmonds. That's all we need.
Just a citizen. Just a citizen.
Well, you have a history. We've talked over the years, and it's been a while since we talked. I'm really excited about getting caught up with you because, I read your article, U.S. Politics and the Myth of the Pendulum Swing. And and of course, it's like 2004. You have a gag order on you. You're not allowed to say anything. You're watching the network cable, fibbers. And all you're getting is just, it's lies and deception. And what's going on behind the scenes. Well, you talk to your professor as you're, continuing your education, and you say, "Now, when does this pendulum thing you keep talking about start to go the other way?" And based on what? What was his response? How did he respond to your criticism?
As many academians do, he basically went with what we call the change of parties here. Every 1 or 2 cycles we have the party administration change in government. And by that, he really jumbled up all the changes, saying, well, if you see liberties right now being diminished right after 9/11, and you have all these wars and the national security state, this is not going to last. In a few years, we're going to have some Democrats elected, and those people are going to come, and they're going to change things, and it's going to go the other way. And then a few administrations later, we're going to see this again. So basically, this entire nonsense that there is this automatic pendulum that is swinging automatically, and we go to one extreme, and then we go to another extreme, and sometimes we are right in the middle, which is absolutely false. The only thing that this pendulum analogy applies to, and even that with a certain caveat, is the party change. And even that is a monopoly presented to people as duopoly. I mean, you look at on matters that really count, okay, from Bush administration, previous administration, to Obama administration, and on these things that count, whether it is the ever-expanding size of our federal government, whether it is the diminishing civil liberties, you know, the TSA, starting with the liquids and the shoes, and now it's the full groping. You're looking at FBI national security letters, and here they extended the Patriot Acts again. Nothing has changed. The size of military-industrial complex for the last 4 or 5 decades been just increasing. We have tens of thousands of defense contractors. These are the private contractors. In addition to this mammoth of defense department that we have under our federal government. So you look at revolving doors, for example. If they were to put the surveys showing the level of corruptions taking place in Congress, and the number of people who are going in and out, actually they never really get out, because even when they get out, they are actually in through the lobby. You look at the campaign finance issues, you see the pendulum has been going only one way. So either this pendulum is broken, something is totally wrong with it, or it never existed.
No, it's really big. You know, it's big, and it's going a long ways. And I'll tell you, it gets to the point that you start having Egypts, you know? I mean, it is getting exactly what you observed, what a lot of us libertarian activists have been screaming about. And you've already talked about this, you know, over the years. You know, we've seen this coming decades ago. It's math. It's never going to stop until it can't function anymore, because it operates totally on our willingness to be slaves. And sooner or later, the people say, you know what? I vote not being a slave if I have to vote. You know, do I get that chance? No. You got to vote for, you know, communist, fascist, statist, collectivist candidate A or B. And sooner or later, they start to realize that's not a choice. Now we're in a situation. I did want to talk about this. I want to get to Egypt in a little bit, because we got breaking news you're telling us about. You know, Richard Holbrooke's been replaced by Mark Grossman, and you know a lot about Mark. Well, we'll get to that in a second in the next segment. Now, this is breaking news, man. You guys got to listen to this. This is good. This is good. But I want to get into the part, you know, your ability to speak Turkish is what brought you into the FBI, and listening to a lot of the conversations and taped and surveillance and so on for, you know, saving the homeland here. You came across a lot of stuff. Was it at that time or later, or development of how it was handled, that you started to realize that it's not just really a United States government? It's kind of this we rule people around the planet kind of thing. You know, talk about that for a little bit.
Oh, well, it depends. If you're talking about our foreign policy practices, our hypocrisy-ridden foreign policy practices, no, actually, I was aware of that a long time ago, because I used to be one of the recipients, okay? I lived in Iran for about 7 years, and I was there when the revolution took place. And I knew a lot of people there. In fact, I had family members there who actually despised the Shah's regime, the monarchy. But they were not the, you know, fanatic Islamists either. They wanted a change, but they didn't want it to change from monarchy to what we have right now in Iran. But Iranians were given a chance. Actually, they created their own chance in 1950s. They actually had their own mini revolution, and they brought in democratically this person they voted for, Mossadegh, and that was their best chance of having democracy in 1953. But what happened was, thanks to the United States, United Kingdom, and Israel, that man was put in jail, and Shah, the king, was brought into the country with private planes from the United Kingdom and was installed there.
Now,
in
exactly
Iran.
at the same time, in 1952, the Cairo fires, what was going on with the British was trying to, you know, seize total control of the Suez Canal, and you had a revolution in Egypt at the same time. Then it hit Iran. Then you had the installation of the Shah. You had the installation of, you know, so are we looking at the same thing happening again right now in the Arabic world? That's what we're going to talk about. Oh, and Sibel, she's going to be able to help us. And she knows all about Mark Grossman. You stay tuned. We'll be right back.